Yeah. In today's episode of the Pathmark Presents podcast, I have an interesting guest here with me today. I'm with Alex Wells, and he's the CEO and co-founder of Imprint Digital. And it's basically provide digital marketing solutions that they leave an imprint, hence the name. And today we want to really deep dive into what what the folks at Imprint are all about, who they serve, and what they actually bring to the table for their customers. So I'm really pleased to have Alex on the show. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Of course, yeah. So maybe give us a quick overview. What is Imprint Digital all about in your own words?
Yes, absolutely. So the name, as you said, is really what we've built this around, and that's that we can provide digital marketing solutions so good they'll leave an imprint. And just a little bit of a background story on how we were created and really what's got us up to this point. So my partner and I, Bobby Shell, we decided to start this business last year. And him and I have known each other now for almost a decade. And we have a very good relationship. He actually was the person that married my wife and I. And we had worked together at a previous company for quite some time. Him and myself, we have combined over 20 years experience in digital marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Both of us started back really on the launch of social media and when things like the iPhone and stuff like that were coming out. And so the timing could not have been better. And I think that that was super attractive for both of us. We wanted to be a part of something special. And that is just obviously been one of the most disruptive things that's ever happened in my lifetime is the launch of social media, obviously everything that's happened with Google and what that has done to the need of businesses and people in general to be able to keep up with that. So we both decided that we were going to hop on that rocket and ride it as long as possible. And in doing so, we worked at a different company for a while, and we got to a place where we've been doing it for a significant amount of time. And what was very interesting is both of us had formed a relationship that was built around entrepreneurship and the investment into understanding the ins and outs of business as a whole. And so that really generated a lot of interest for us to get explore options, right? We had already started conversations about investing in businesses of our own and what those opportunities would look like. And we decided to both actually leave at the same time and explore other options. And both of us actually ended up taking jobs in the kind of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin sphere. He is actually still the VP of marketing at Voltage. And I myself, I've decided to be the CEO of Imprint full time. But when we decided to leave, we started to have people reach out to us like crazy, just asking us for help and seeing what we could do and just really looking for the type of approach that they felt like we could provide based on our background, experience, knowledge, and just knowing us as people. And we got to talking and we were like, hey, this really lines up very well with the things that we've already been talking about. Why don't we figure out a way to make this official? And so we decided to start an actual marketing company. And that's really how the birth of Imprint started. And we've seen just a tremendous response to what we've been able to do over the course of the last year. And it's very exciting.
Very cool. Just to sort of, reiterate on that a little bit, who would you describe would be sort of, a great fit for Imprint? What type of customers you would working with? What's the industry? Is there a certain size? Maybe give us sort of a roundup on that.
Yeah, definitely. So our approach is really we don't work with just anybody. Because what we found in working in the industry for a very long time is it's not always the right time to invest in digital marketing. I think that sometimes people would argue otherwise who are really, into marketing and very passionate about it, but we don't believe that's the case. And so we try to be very mindful of where that business is at in their journey and whether or not it's the right time for them to make such a investment. And so I would say that our primary customer and really the best fit for us at this point is there's a couple sectors that I believe we really fall into very well, which we've also kind of built our business strategy around. And that's a established business that's been around for a while. Maybe they've tried digital marketing before. Maybe they have a pretty consistent marketing strategy themselves. Maybe it's really something that they've thought about, but not necessarily been able to make the leap into. But they've been around a while. They recognize the need for it. They understand that it's not going anywhere. Maybe they were impacted by COVID or something like that, and just recognize that obviously that took out a lot of opportunity to do in-person business, and realized they needed to be able to connect with people digitally. That is a huge customer basis for us right now, and really they're reaching out to us, and we're trying to help them bridge that gap, because what's happened is digital marketing is so integrated into business at this point. It's really kind of one and the same. You can't, in my opinion, really do one without the other anymore, especially after what we saw that COVID did, right? With taking out a lot of that in-person business. And so we want to make that easier. It can be very intimidating as a business owner to take that leap, and or maybe you've had a bad experience working with somebody and you want that process to be easier. You want somebody to genuinely care and help. And that's where we come in. We believe that we've got a very unique approach that makes that process easier. We feel like we're friendly, easy to talk to, and that just makes the experience better for everybody. And then the other sector is, with COVID and the recession and stuff like that, what happens during those times is that's when more businesses start than ever, right? We're seeing so many startup businesses. We're seeing such innovative technology and people, launching businesses left and right all over the place. And what we found is that when you do that, a lot of people who are starting business don't necessarily account for the marketing side of those expenses and the investment in doing so. And so what oftentimes happens is you have all these startup companies who are getting capital from venture capitalists or taking loans or whatever that might be to get things jump started, and they need a way to get in front of people. They need digital marketing, and maybe it's a really tough thing for them to try to account for if they're looking at maybe a CMO or a VP of marketing or something to lead that charge as a startup and as an organization. And we believe that our background and just the tremendous amount of experience that we have in the industry, along with our entrepreneur spirit, makes it so that those businesses could come to us and work with us, and we could bridge that gap as well, to where we could almost plug into your organization as like your fractional CMO, or somebody that just brings that whole different level of experience to make that possible for you.
That makes sense. So would that, are you suggesting in a way even that startups might actually, rather than hiring a CMO when it's, they're in their beginning phases, they would plug in with you guys and then run on that gear?
Exactly, 100%, because we've seen it. We're both investors ourselves, and so we've had an opportunity to have some of these conversations with businesses. And what happens is sometimes, that salary that you're trying to carry as an organization when you're first launching can be a lot. You're trying to run a very lean organization at that point. And especially if you're in like the technology space and maybe you're doing software development or, something, for example, like in the cryptocurrency or Bitcoin arena, you should be investing a lot of your resources into engineering, right, and software development, and making sure that your technology is clean and innovative, and that it's doing what it needs to in order to separate you from the pack. So hiring a CMO and carrying a salary like that might be really hard. So you could come to us and we can provide that experience, but also a team. So rather than hiring a CMO that then has to go out and hire a designer and a developer and somebody to do SEO and all of these things, and then those salaries just stack up, right? You can come to us. We have the expertise and we have the team backing you, so you could save a lot of money at a time where you need to.
Makes a lot of sense. So all the marketing or all the founders that are in need of marketing and listening in, give that option definitely a go and think about it potentially that way. As we're slowly heading towards the end of our short and crisp session today, I want to give you or throw at you a couple of rapid fire questions. Are you ready for those?
Yes, absolutely.
What's the one thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
The one thing our company's focused on at the moment is we are in a transition phase right now. We've been in business just over a year now, and a lot of businesses fail in the first year. We saw a tremendous amount of success. We've been very fortunate, and we're grateful for that opportunity. But now that we've kind of made it through that initial growing pain, we are scaling rapidly right now. So we are doing a lot of onboarding, and we're also seeing so much exposure from the work that we've done that all of a sudden we're seeing just tons of new clients too. So we're in a scaling phase, and it's very exciting to be a part of, because I mean we've probably grown 40% in just the last 2 months alone. So that's a huge transition phase for a business. So we're kind of celebrating that anniversary, but also just taking those next steps, and we're excited about it.
Awesome. What's the last book that you read?
The last book I read actually is How to Become an Award-Winning Company. It is written by Matt Schaup, who is actually a client of ours, and he is a local entrepreneur and business owner in the Northern Colorado area. And it is a fantastic book. I recommend it to everybody. As a matter of fact, I might plug him real quick if that's okay.
Of course.
This is the book. How to Become an Award-Winning Company. It is great because it talks a lot about those initial phases of a business and how you can get traction without having to invest a ton of money and lose a lot of capital and stuff like that. Like, how do you network? How do you get back to like the grassroots approach of marketing to get your business off the ground?
If there would be no boundaries in technology, what's the one thing that you would fix for your role in marketing?
There's no boundaries in technology. What's one thing I would fix in my role in marketing? There was no boundaries in technology. I would love, if there was no boundaries in technology, I would love to be able to automate more things, which we're seeing more and more. As a matter of fact, obviously your company is providing some great opportunities with that. But I think that that's the reality of the world that we're in right now is how can we implement automation in order to help specifically in our arena. I think the client communication aspect of what it is that we do, and making what we do easier for them to understand and know what's going on. I think we're a long ways out of being able to replace that human touch of communication, and how we help make it easier for the people that we work with to understand what we do. But that would be one thing I would love to see more technology coming out for.
Now, if we do a little bit of time travel, right, and we go back to, let's say, the very first day that you started working on Imprint, what's the one advice you would give yourself?
Calm down. Calm down. It's all going to be just fine. I went through a huge transition phase in starting this business, and my wife and I both actually decided to change careers at the same time. And so it was a very interesting time in my life, and I was very confident that we were going to be able to do what we were doing, and get to the point we are today. But also, there's so much uncertainty when you're starting the business, and so I would just tell myself to calm down. You got this. Do what you know how to do, essentially, and everything's going to end up working out.
And for the very last question, I'd like to maybe sort of, help the people out that are a little bit forgetful. If they would be forgetting all that we discussed today about Imprint, what's the one thing that they should remember?
The one thing you should remember about Imprint Digital is we understand that you're a business owner and that in itself is a lot to tackle. So we're very empathetic and understanding to your situation, and we realize that it's very scary sometimes to invest your resources into something like digital marketing, where maybe you don't understand it super well. We realize that, we understand that, and we want to help make that process easier for you.
Thanks a lot for being a guest on Pathmark Presents.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.